What's up? Hey, hello, everyone. Wow. So today we are not going to be talking about Survivor, but today we are going to be giving our review of MTV's The Challenge. So my name is Rachel.
And I'm Alyssa. And one thing about MTV's The Challenge is that it premieres at the same time as Survivor does, and so you need
Sucks.
to choose. Yeah, I had to DVR this because I was like, okay, Rachel and I are going to talk about The Challenge, but I'm not going to not watch Survivor. So The
Yeah,
Challenge
I
is on
think,
MTV, 8 p.m. on Wednesdays.
which totally is the major drawback. I watched it online on Thursday after, so like MTV does post the videos as well, but I think sometimes you sort of need like a cable provider that has MTV, then you have to log in with like Verizon or Xfinity or whatever. Otherwise, you have to like pay for the episode. But when I was in college, I would just create the 24-hour free trials and then just binge all the episodes at once if you don't have cable TV.
Yeah, it's a time, and The Challenge is also a time. I feel like this was my first time watching The Challenge. Rachel saw the last season. And so a lot of this episode, I was kind of confused as to like what's happening. Because I feel like in Survivor, they do a really good job of being like, you're going to get immunity. Whoever like gets immunity is safe from the vote. And then they go to tribal council, blah, 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 blah. All this stuff was happening in the challenge. And I was like, what? Because they have like a tribunal, and I'm like, what's a tribunal? And just they were voting for something in the middle of the episode, and I wasn't entirely sure what they were voting for.
So I guess from Alyssa's point of view as a first-time watcher, maybe the challenge isn't super good at letting new watchers understand what's happening. Like she did mention, I did watch last season of the challenge because my supervisor recommended it since I told him I was into Survivor. Then he's like, oh, it's just like Survivor. And I was like, okay. But after watching it, I'm like, oh, I don't think it's just like Survivor. But yeah, it sort of has a similar premise where people are in a bunker, which would probably be good for like disasters. And then they do challenges and then they vote people in, and then you go and do the challenge and then you get voted out technically if you lose the challenge, which personally I think it's sort of more like Big Brother because you're living in a house, you're not on an island, and then people who win the head of household in Big Brother, this at least it's 3 people versus one person who's the leader in Big Brother that chooses the people to go up for elimination. But yeah, I don't know. I just think I like the challenges on the challenge. Obviously, since that's the name of the TV show, the challenges better be good. So I feel like I watch the challenge more for the challenges because personally, I don't know. I don't think the strategy on the challenge is comparable to Survivor. So if you're looking for a TV show with more strategy, the challenge, it seems like it's more petty drama and there's some strategy, but it's more like Big Brother strategy. A little bit dulled down, I think.
Yeah, like they were talking about who they were going to vote out, and literally their strategy was, we always do a rookie, so we're going to pick all the rookies. I was like, that's so dumb. That seems so like antithetical to what you would want to do too. Like, don't vote out the people who are bad at the game. Vote out the people who are. There was one person who was like, "This is my eighth time," and I'm like, "Excuse me, you can play this game 8 times? Do you have a job?"
Which I think Which is another thing. These people, like, they go on it once and then they're literally there for years on end. So, yeah, it's interesting because it's also the 35th season. So, this show has been going on a long time, similar to like Survivor. And so, differently, I guess Survivor people play like 4 or 5 times, but these people play time. A lot of people like don't win a lot, play a bunch of times.
Yeah, and one thing also in the challenge, if you have played before, they will put under your name that you're a vet. And I was sitting there for the first 15 minutes of the challenge being like, wow, they asked a lot of veterinarians to this show. And then, like, halfway through, I was like, wait, it's not short for veterinarian, it's short for veteran, as if they've been on the challenge before. I felt really dumb. But, like, Survivor will put, like, someone's, like, occupation or, like, the season they won there, not like they have played Survivor before, you know?
They're
So
new or old at the show, yeah. That's interesting, I think. If you're also looking for a TV show, Alyssa and I, that's why I wanted to watch and for her to watch this season because they have Big Brother players, Survivor players, and an Amazing Race person on this season of the Survivor or of the challenge. So it's sort of like the Amazing Race last season where they did the mix up of the different reality TV shows. So Jay from Millennials versus Gen X is on this season of the challenge, as well as like 4 people from Big Brother 20. And then with that, I'm sort of like, what the heck? Why are they all from this one season of Big Brother? I think you could have had other people from like other seasons of Big Brother because it's sort of rumored that they go in with a pregame alliance, obviously, since they've all played another reality TV show on the exact same season, no less. But if you do watch Big Brother, Amazing Race, Survivor, I think you should watch the challenge.
yeah, I feel like the challenge is definitely different because like it's one of those shows you can kind of shut off your brain while you watch. Like I
Yeah.
went and made myself breakfast while watching the challenge, and when I came back, I didn't feel like I had missed anything. I was like, oh cool, they're still just sitting around all flirting and talking. Like that's another thing. I feel like everyone is flirting, and on Survivor, if there's a showmance, there's like one, and it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's like the challenge showmances relationships. People are fiancéed, engaged kind of thing. So it's like people are afraid of the people in a relationship. Like we saw it on the premiere episode with Swaggy C and Bailey, who are from Big Brother. People did not want to put Swaggy C into the elimination competition because they were afraid of Bailey and like her alliance coming after them. So I think it's interesting the sort of juxtaposition of, oh, Survivor showmances, partnerships are frowned upon, but in the challenge, it's seemingly like, oh, if you have a partner, a relationship kind of thing, it's scary for people. And I think that's interesting. And it's a little bit different as well. Like we were talking about, the strategy is sort of dulled down. I was reading Jay had a like interview maybe with ET Entertainment Weekly or something like that, where he was talking about the differences between Survivor and the challenge. And he was saying how the challenge strategy was just so difficult for him to do because it was like talking to a bunch of meatheads and sort of going to people's logic was not working because they were not thinking logically of like, oh, why should you put this person into elimination versus not? People just weren't thinking like that, which I could totally see considering all of the drama is like who hooked up with who and people like trying to be too macho and fighting with one another. I'm like fast forward because I just people like big dudes screaming at each other is not something that I want to watch, and that's like a lot of the drama I feel like.
Yeah, I definitely see that. And I think another interesting thing is like the vets. Everyone knows who the veterans of the challenge are, and they're kind of like instead of it being like on Survivor, where like if a returning player comes back, everyone's like, "Ooh, like we need to get him out." They like instantly have like respect and alliances instead, which is why I feel like it's unfair to like let someone like Swaggy in because it's like he already gets a big boost because he's engaged to someone who already has an alliance, and it's like none of the other rookies have that. So I don't know. It seems like this game actively encourages like pre-game alliances. So I
I
don't know.
agree. Like half of these people were like on last season's The Challenge. So a lot of these people, like we were saying, play so many times. So they literally all know each other. They've played together. They're all acquaintance friends at least kind of thing. So it is interesting. A very different from Survivor.
Yeah, and I guess like when they talk to each other, it really was just like listening to meatheads talk to each other. And I feel like you kind of saw that when they were talking about who to like vote out. Like Jay was like, I'm just saying, like, if this is a thing that could happen, and everyone was like, are you threatening him? Is that what's happening? Are you threatening him? And I was like, dude. So
Yeah, so I think the one interesting thing this season, different from other seasons of the challenge, is that now you have to go into an elimination competition in order to make it to the final challenge. And that's where you can compete to win the money, which is $1 million. I think there's 2 winners this season. So they're splitting it 500,000, 500,000. I don't think the ending of this season is one where one person gets to say take it all versus like split it with the other person kind of thing. But I think making everyone go into an elimination competition will make the strategy more interesting, hopefully, because last season it's like one big alliance just dominated the other smaller alliances because they had the numbers each week. They could have a majority in the tribunal each week. So they could always get someone in the opposing alliance into the elimination competition. But I think when everyone has to go in and there's like a set number of elimination competitions, I think it could be interesting because it's like, oh, you sort of want to go into at least you have to go into at least one elimination competition. Then maybe you ask your friends who are on the tribunal and who have the power to nominate you. And then you hope that like you can get an easy opponent kind of thing. Or if like the group nominates an easy component, then you get the tribunal to nominate you because you know you can beat the easy person and then you will have the ticket to go into the finals. So I think that could be interesting. That might be high level thinking and we might not see that happen and just more rookies will go in the next few weeks. But I think that would be interesting strategy because you do have to plan it. Because what if like you run out of time and there's no more elimination competitions and there's just a purge and people get voted out without even like doing an elimination competition? Like you sort of want to go in now versus not going in at all.
yeah, and I think there could also be strategy of like, oh, we should put in like you might want to play against Jay again because then it's like if he gets knocked out, there's one less person against me in the final challenge type thing. But honestly, with the level of strategy that happens in the challenge that I've seen so far, I'm not sure that people are going to be thinking about it as deeply as maybe we are. So I think they're all going to realize they're screwed like near the end when they're like, oh shoot, I still haven't been in an elimination challenge. So
Yeah, that's what it seemed like in the Entertainment Weekly article. Jay was saying like the people did not appeal to logic at all. They weren't really thinking maybe that next level strategy. So I think it'll be interesting to see.
yeah, yeah. I am planning on continuing to watch the challenge, if only because I'm so bored all the time. And like, I feel like it'll be interesting because next week is Jay's, or why did I say Jay's? Next week, the girls, I think, are eliminating someone. So Jay is guaranteed to get through. And I feel like Jay is mostly the person I'm watching this for just because I don't really care about anyone else. And then episode 3 is actually titled A Long Jay's Night, which I assume means
No.
that Jay is either going to get eliminated or he's going to be like a major player in that episode. So I'll I'll definitely watch up until when Jay is eliminated, if Jay gets eliminated. So
Yeah, I definitely think the challenge is something that's easier to binge because just having to wait a whole week and then it's like guys elimination, girls elimination, it's just more difficult, I think. I liked it last season in college, just binging it whenever I downloaded the 24-hour thing and watching like 5 episodes at once, because then you get to see like the strategy play out for 5 episodes rather than just, oh, here's one episode, Jay and Asaf went into elimination, Jay won kind of thing. Spoiler, I guess. Sorry. If you didn't watch the first episode and you're going to watch it, our man Jay is still in the show. And so Alyssa is going to continue watching. I will continue watching it. But I do think it is easier to binge.
Yeah, and if you're watching it, don't expect it to be Survivor caliber. It's just not. So,
Yeah, so this is what we all are doing over our quarantine time, staying home, social distancing. We hope that you all are doing well and staying safe and healthy out there. If anyone has any other TV shows that they want to see us watch or do, on this channel, we've also watched Love Island, the US version, as well as Alyssa has seen some of the Australian Survivor series. I've watched all of those seasons. Let us know in the comments because we definitely want to start watching some other TV shows, especially once college is over and the summer happens and there's nothing to do.
yeah, all of my plans are canceled, so it's fine. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week talking about Survivor again. Bye.